So after the YouTubers Nicholas Diorio and Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers uploaded their videos talking about MamaMax's failed investigation into Camden Gerard Davis, Twitter has been blowing up with discussion around this topic, starting when Mudahar tweeted out his video by saying, "Today I spent an hour to review one of the worst examples of predator hunting I've seen in YouTube history. One example that's still sadly occurring as we speak. This is how one beloved creator on YouTube has spiraled into madness and is actively ruining cases, link below. And since we're past the point of caring, I want to advise I've been receiving vague threats before uploading this video. I don't care what damage you cause to me or my brand. Please hand this case off to someone who's capable." He then shows some DMs he got from MamaMax on Discord, where MamaMax says, "Please Muda, take time to think deeply and clearly about this case, other well-known documented cases, and yourself. I admit to my mistakes. Please reflect on yours. I am not going to attack you publicly, but if we are forced into a position where we need to respond to you, we absolutely will, and we are not afraid to do so. And I promise you it is going to get very ugly for you and your brand. We have called each other brothers. Please treat me as such as I have been doing for you. There is absolutely a time and place for a conversation on false accusations. I am a literal victim of this phenomenon, and I would love to have a public conversation about it even on your podcast if you'll have me. But this case is not it." Muda responds, "What do you mean it's going to get very ugly for me and my brand? I'm literally asking you for evidence. I'm never stating Camden is innocent. You've made a poor job of presenting this. How is it bad for me to tell people to think critically and demand concrete evidence when blasting an individual?" MamaMax responds, "Let me be clear. That is not a threat. That is what is being discussed between the survivors and myself when you were making things public without conducting a thorough investigation." Mikey Mumble's response to Muda posting this by saying, "We have called each other brothers. If we are forced into a position where we need to respond, I promise it is going to get very ugly for you." Dude went from emotional manipulation to a literal threat in the same message. What is he on? Repsion responds by saying, "It's about to get ugly for your brands is a threat. What the fuck is this dude smoking? He's off his rocker." Eckhart's Ladder says, "If he does respond, is he going to use that goofy ass voice he does?" Sir James Insane responds to Muda by saying, "You were making things public without conducting a thorough investigation? My guy, you did this!" Nicholas Diorio also tweets out his video, saying that Max has gotten 0 predators arrested, faked evidence against predators, lies to bolster credibility, and farmed abuse victims for Patreon income. Whiskey Sawyer responds by saying, "How will Tippy respond to this?" To which Nicholas Diorio responds with a soundboard clip and silence.
Hold up. Glenn, please finish your point, and then we're going to move on to the response.
The question I ask is, the question that you asked Ian is
Tipster then responded to all of this by saying, "Tommy C and I could tell a long time ago that MamaMax was not to be trusted, and we both caught a lot of shit for our criticism of him. Guess there are some people who gotta eat crow now." Nick quote tweets Tipster and says, "Tipster has sacrificed so much for this cause. Few could forget his massive contribution. Eat crow, non-believers. Why compare yourself to Tommy? I was critical of Max too, but I don't pretend I was at his side for years with undying support as Tommy waged war, laughing my fucking ass off. Boo-hoo, you had a hard weekend." Tommy never stopped fighting him. He then shows a DM that Tipster sent to MamaMax during the time he was criticizing him, where Tipster says, "My sincere apologies for my rash behavior. I still stand by my opinions of your video, but I still could have kept a more level head during our previous interactions. In any case, I wish you nothing but the best. I disagree with your methods, but we can agree to disagree on that. In any case, take care." New Poster tweets about the MamaMax situation by saying, "MamaMax is actually so funny. He's like an adult lib theater kid combined with a QAnon LARP pedo hunter. I also haven't laughed harder recently than figuring out he doesn't just sound like that. The deep voice is just totally fake to make him sound less like a dipshit." Wavy Websurf says, "We live in a world where Gideon somehow handled an alleged pedo investigation better than MamaMax." Ellie says, "When you ask MamaMax why he's losing subs," showing a picture of MamaMax sitting in a burning building and then giving us a random QR code. This other Ellie shows a picture of a dog in a Batman mask and says, "MamaMax editing his cornball ass videos thinking he's the coolest guy who's ever lived." Doc on the radio says, "MamaMax currently asking ChatGPT," showing MamaMax saying, "What do I do now?" and then ChatGPT responding, "You're fucked." Samuel says, "Nicholas Diorio has come back to YouTube after a 2-year hiatus hiatus with an hour-long video on MamaMax. Things aren't looking good for Max. Flamenco then responds, a fat midwit doesn't like him, truly a tragedy. And then Alex responds by saying, I, for one, am not shocked Flamenco is siding with MamaMax. If I was a pedophile, I would also want the biggest pedo hunter to have a 0% success rate at catching predators. Matt Pitt says, MamaMax at a McDonald's drive-thru be like, I assure you that it would be in your best interest to serve me a McFlurry and a large fry, please. Lorek says, hashtag we are retarded. Black vampire emoji, wolf emoji, black vampire emoji. MamaMax then tweets out, if you were a survivor of Camden Gerard Davis, please DM me here. He then gets absolutely obliterated in terms of being ratioed, with the post only getting 28 likes, with hundreds of quote retweets and replies. One person who replied was Smaggle, who says, if you were a survivor of Camden Gerard the Completionist Davis, please let me ratio this guy above. Hannah Clark responds, don't. Contact the police. The Confusing Opinion says, if you were a survivor of Camden Pro Gerard the Completionist Davis, please contact law enforcement and not this clown. FPS Diesel says, that's great and all, but what if Max Striker was a survivor of being turned black or Chinese? Timmy responds to Max by saying, here's what you would look like if you were black or Chinese. Withered says, MamaMax of catching pedos was a class, super F. So after getting clowned on a bunch after Muda and Nick's video came out on him, MamaMax decided to take things a little further. And Muda revealed what those things were when he tweets out, was sent what appears to be a leaked message from Max to his private evidence server, so can't claim if this is valid. Insane fucking behavior to start wasting resources on an international lawsuit. Get help. He then shares screenshots where Max says, at everyone, Spencer and I are considering a class action lawsuit against Mudahar for breaching our non-disclosure agreement, inciting harassment on live streams, defamation, and causing emotional distress. He's extremely rich, so the lawsuit seeks $1 million in damages to be distributed between all of you. All you would have to do is testify against him, particularly regarding his actions, not speaking to any of you about the evidence and the impact his behavior has had on you. Spencer has agreed to be the lead plaintiff, and I'll do all of the hard work. Please let us know if you are interested. This could have a huge impact on the case against Camden. And then one of the alleged survivors of Camden in this chat with Max responds by saying, dude, no, can this stop? Mudahar continues on Twitter by saying, despite this, I'll still do what I can to help any potential victims privately. I don't believe this is the thinking of any parties who are seeking justice. I think this is the AI dribblings of a man-child. I respond by saying, holy shit, he's actually insane. Even the alleged victims want him to stop. He's fucking up their case to get revenge on you, what the fuck? Nicholas Diorio says, how much money did I save by ignoring this DM while we were in the call? Laughing my fucking ass off. Showing a DM that MamaMax sent him, where he says, you would have to sign the NDA before I send any evidence. Do you want to join the server? Dojangles says, what a clown. This has never had anything to do with victims. Lorek says, laughing my fucking ass off, if this is real, that would be nuts. But TBF, Max has a different Discord profile picture, but also he could be using a different account for the private server, so it's up in the air. Crazy if real though. Psych Draws says, Max and Spencer are coming off as really money hungry. This doesn't feel like an effort for justice at all. Shubal says, the dude knows says it all to be honest. Disciple says, in a way, I hope he goes through with it, because then he'd be subject to discovery. I bet that thought never crossed his mind, lol. The Quartering says, congrats on being extremely rich. Wavy Websurf says, this is fucking insane if true. Max, log off playa. Ruined Leon says, so MamaMax responses to potentially sue YouTubers. This doesn't help the victims at all. Tommy C says, it's always been about money. A new grift has been born. Optimus says, it's been apparent this dude was a douchebag for quite some time now. His accountability upload solidified it, and now threatening to sue Muda just nailed the coffin. If it was really about helping victims and speaking up for people, none of this stupidity would be happening. Toastify says, Spencer has agreed to be the lead plaintiff, and I'll do all of the hard work. No way a guy who's never been to court saying he's gonna handle an international lawsuit worth millions, laughing my ass off. Either the worst bluff ever, or he's gone completely schizo. Nicholas Diorio says, so it was all about the money. LOL! Got it. How else would I interpret a reaction like this? To someone arguing for the survivors to be treated/advised better? Any willing participant who goes along with this is completely discredited in my opinion. I quote tweet Mudahar and say, this is shitty on so many levels from Max. Muda has been friends with Max for years. Muda supported both of Max's anti-YouTube movements to help him out, but as soon as Muda Muda is critical of his most recent movement, he ignores his advice and tries to take his money in a lawsuit. Oompaville says, "This is fucking unhinged, holy shit." Irrational Chad says, "Max about to find out why you should pay a lawyer rather than rely on ChatGPT." Zip says, "Is this the lawyer that's gonna take on a $1 million international lawsuit for Max?" Showing a picture of ChatGPT in a very professional suit. Magnetar says, "Oh my god, lol. Muda, if this is real and he comes after you, I will 100% go through with my suit against Max." Magnetar also tweets out, "I want to say thanks to all the folks responsible for shedding light on Max's exploitative behavior towards survivors, and the way he frivolously makes serious accusations without evidence. Specifically, I want to thank Nicholas Diorio and Some Ordinary Gamers for their recent videos, and for taking the opportunity to apologize for your initial reactions to Max's baseless allegation towards me. I have been waiting for this moment for over a year, and finally, I feel like I can put much of the Max trauma behind me. This does not mean I won't stop ensuring he is held accountable in every way I can. Thank you." So the trauma and baseless accusation from MamaMax that Magnetar is referring to comes from a feud they had in July of 2022, where Magnetar made a video with a bunch of Max's ex-girlfriends accusing him of being abusive, and then MamaMax responded by making allegations that Magnetar is a pedophile without any substantial evidence on his predator hunting YouTube channel. And since Max had a lot of credibility at the time, this obviously caused a lot of issues for Magnetar. But now that Max's credibility is a lot worse than it was back then, Magnetar finally feels comfortable to share more details on what he had to deal with behind the scenes in regard to MamaMax, like this email thread he had with his legal team from January 2023, where Max's legal representative demands that Magnetar remove his video on MamaMax as well as all public statements in regards to MamaMax, as well as cease contact with the girls who were accusing MamaMax of abuse, and make a public and private apology for stalking their client for almost 10 years. Magnetar's lawyer responds by asking MamaMax's legal team to identify themselves as a legitimate attorney, to which MamaMax's legal team responds by saying they can't due to public exposure and behavior exhibited by Magnetar, meaning that he doesn't want to share, which makes no sense. And then the legal team continues to demand that Magnetar complies with the terms by June 1st of 2023, which obviously he never did, and it's been 7 months since then, and it doesn't seem like anything happened to Magnetar. So Irrational Chad sees this tweet and captions it by saying, "These emails make it absolutely clear that the MamaMax legal team is likely Max himself pretending to be a lawyer. Absolute clown show." Nicholas Diorio tweets out, "MamaMax reached out to me following my 6-hour live stream where we tore him to shreds. All he saw was the 1,500 people watching and the attention that would come from it. I feel like my answer was appropriate and fair despite the issue I had with him prior to making my video." He then shares these DMs which start out with Max saying, "Hey Nick, I'm just catching wind of your newest stream. I'd like to formally request an opportunity to platform the survivors about their story and even their thoughts on the drama. I don't even have to participate. I just want their voices to be heard." Nick responds, "I am confused. Do you want me to bring them on?" Max responds, "That is correct." Nick then replies, "Max, everything I have to say to you here will remain private because I am not trying to make this situation any harder for you or inject myself into the actual content. But you need to get these girls help the internet can't provide. Find a journalist. Get them a good lawyer, and set them up for success, please. I think you are wildly in over your head on something you haven't experienced before, and I don't want to contribute further to it. I have been watching everything publicly for 10 hours across 2 streams, and my head is spinning trying to piece this together. I can't imagine how difficult this is behind the scenes if I choose to continue believing you have everyone's best interest at heart, and this was a series of missteps." Max responds, "We have been actively contacting journalists and are consulting with multiple lawyers. The internet has been the sole source of assistance for them to date. Just to confirm, are you declining to provide a platform for these survivors?" Nicholas responds, "Yeah man, I am declining. And I'm moving on from this subject. You have my permission to tell people that. I wish them nothing but the best, and I hope they find justice against those who wronged them. My platform is no place to have that discussion. I am an entertainer, and not equipped to take that responsibility on. It's far outside of something I could handle and do a good job at. Also, by the way, I hope you personally take my frustration and complaints as a wake-up call about how fucked this whole thing is, instead of just just seeing me be loud and pissy as a direct attack. So while all of this was going down on Twitter, one of MamaMax's YouTube friends, Nexpo, went onto Lyrix's stream to give more information about the situation, Max in general, and to say that he no longer supports MamaMax. Here is part of that stream.
So basically, yeah, to answer your question, yes, I befriended Max late 2019, I believe, like right around his Kanye Quest video. So I came in around like the gaming video portion of his career. The thing with Max is like you never really know what you're getting into whenever you join him in anything. And that's honestly, I should have, I guess, read into that shit more and had more of like, I guess, the awareness of what the fuck I was doing, because Max will basically randomly DM you like, hey, do you want to be in a video? And I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll be in a video. And he like sends me a script and he's like, read this. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. And then I see the whole context when everything's out. And I'm like, what the fuck?
So that, okay, so for the like specifically the pick a side thing, you just got like basically a script to say out loud, and you just trusted him because obviously he's your friend.
Well, he comes to me. He would come to me, basically saying like, I'm trying to put out this video, or he had already put out a video or something, and YouTube struck it down and everything, and he was doing the pick a side thing, which it seems noble like at first, and then when you see the full picture of it, it's, especially in retrospect now, it's like...
Yeah, it's pretty... Like, the dude literally... I mean, it's a pretty funny story. I mean, he went out of his way to not censor some, like, IMVU character's naked ass. And then he blamed YouTube for being pro-pedophile just because he didn't include this... Like, he didn't decide to censor an ass in his video. It was like... I didn't
even realize that that's what the whole thing was about. And he... God, I shouldn't have been in that video. I shouldn't have done that. I should have vetted what I was doing.
And so, yes, and what we're finding out, like recently with Mudahar too. I don't know if you've seen some of his conversations with people. Like, I guess, like, you know, he's like a streamer, Chud Logic. He had a conversation with him where he was grilling him a little bit, and Mudahar ended up just saying, yeah, like, you know, the reason why I gave, you know, specifically this guy so much credibility publicly is not because I actually watched his videos, just because we sat down, had a beer together, we ended up being friends, and he just lied straight to my face.
That's the thing. That's the thing, man. It's in person. He's like a normal. It seems like a normal dude. It's kind of awkward. Cracks jokes. You know, we grab a beer together and stuff, and it's just like a normal person. And then you befriend that version of someone, and then they go online and do all this fucking shit. And they do it once, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then they do it twice, and it's like, okay, damn, YouTube really hates you. And then your exes come out, and it's like, okay, what the fuck's going on? And then this, and I'm like, okay, there's a pattern. This shit happens once a year. This is fucking exhausting. Yeah. Like, being associated with you, doing all this shit, going through the same song and dance every goddamn year is just, it gets so old, dude. It's exhausting. And I told him that. I've cut ties with him, and I just kind of laid it all out. Like being associated with you in any way is just fucking frustrating, and he literally thrust me into depression with the exes thing. Like, I've always been kind of, you know, like, I've had my shit together and everything, but with the whole like thing with his exes, I think it was like last year and all that, like just being associated with him, being so, I guess, close with him, and then seeing all this shit with the exes come out. I had no idea his name was Max Harris. I had no idea who the fuck Lucy was. I had no idea about anything. And then all this shit just blindsides you, and it's like, what the fuck is happening, you know?
Yeah.
I've always, I don't know why the fuck I have all these years, but I've always just believed his videos at face value. I don't know why I've done that, but I have. And it's fucking sad. It's sad to see all this shit that he faked and on like such serious topics. It's sad to see that goddamn Cartoon Incorporated was fake. He told me so many goddamn times that Cartoon Incorporated was real. Like, I have to pry shit out of him just to get the truth. You guys have been digging in this probably more than I have. Tell me this fucking lawsuit shit's fake. Please, for the love of God.
I mean, it's not going to be an international lawsuit, but I mean, it is a threat. That is a threat that was made. Spencer seems to be pushing it. Yeah, that's definitely real. He's totally lost his fucking mind.
Dude, Nick, I'm pretty sure you know this, but the NDA is Mudahar writing his name and the date when he did it in his notes page and sending that screenshot.
I was digging into like the MamaMax legal team stuff that Magnetar tweeted, and it's just silly, man. It's just silly. Like you know, people aren't stupid. Like we know it's not an actual attorney. The attorneys don't send emails from YouTubers' personal contacts emails. Like it's just not how it is.
One more thing. So you said that Max told you one of the videos were fake. Did you know that a lot of his content was fake before all this stuff broke?
Wait, did he say that? I missed that.
Did I say that?
I think you said that you had like because there was something you had to.
I think he said
like,
he found out it was fake.
about. Yeah, you had to pester him about it because he wouldn't tell you. But like, did you know that a
Cartoon
lot of his
Incorporated?
content? Yeah, it was that one.
Yes. And the but that's like little that, and then the Asahara thing, the Om Shinrikyo thing. I had to pester him about that too. But those were like the only two like little things. Back
Yeah, because that was the one. For people who don't know, he claimed he was being attacked by like a Japanese cult
fucking
or
dangerous cult. Yeah.
Yeah.
For making a YouTube video, and that apparently they sent him a video game that's going to give him a brain hemorrhage, and then also sent him death threats in his fucking email saying, "I'll kill you." It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and I remember the Cartoon Incorporated thing. I saw it in a Lost Media iceberg because I like to cover a lot of Lost Media shit, and I was like, man, fucking Max made that. Like, I should ask him. And then I asked him, and he was always like, no, he does that Max laugh he does, and then he's like, no, it's real, man, it's real and stuff, whatever. And then at Creator Clash this past year, I basically kind of like I was like, dude, look, I feel like I don't know you, and there's a lot of shit that you've not opened up to me about. There's a lot of shit that I don't even know about who the fuck you are. And basically during that call, he opened up about like the Om Shinrikyo thing, and then the fucking God damn it, man, I can't think.
So do you think he was guilty that he faked that
wait.
content? Because you're saying he's opened up about it, or was it like kind of like an admission? What was the tone of that conversation like?
Basically it was after the exes thing, and I had already kind of been sort of backing away from being associated with him since all that, because back then I kind of knew like, okay, this is got to be it, you know, like I can't like be close with him anymore, and I'll still be cool with him, but it's like I can't be friends with him anymore. It's exhausting. Yeah, we were in an Uber. We were going to this Creator Clash after party thing, and I think Max realized that. He was like, yeah, Ryan's kind of distancing himself and all that and stuff, and it just kind of came out in his demeanor, and somehow it came up in conversation, and we were a few beers in, and I just started asking him stuff about like just things about his life and everything that he's never told me, because he's never fucking opened up about anything with me. And yeah, that's how I got those answers.
Do you think he like had an arrest or something under his belt at some point during this?
Yeah, did he tell you that?
So with the one video, which video was that where he put the fucking mugshot of the guy with like the messed up information and everything
Puppy
on
Stomp.
there?
He announced, and he was claiming that he got a lot of predators, locked up in his previous video, which would be My Law.
Yeah, and then he went on like
fake.
Nick. He like went on your podcast too, and he also said he got
Pablo
Sonny
locked up.
Yeah,
so I just fucking believed him. I don't know. In hindsight, I don't know why I did.
I thought the craziest part of the call was when he was like, "Oh no, that was what happened." Like he needed to watch the clip to remember that. Meanwhile, he told some elaborate lie about how he was expedited back to Canada, and like, what the fuck, dude? That's so crazy.
Like I get doing things for theatrics and videos. Like I do it all the time with my videos for things that like just can't be shown with like stock footage. But for something like predator hunting, like in real time, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just different. Yeah. If you're actually playing with like real people's, like real victims and like real like
making up victims to pin on the potential pedophiles he's calling out. And literally in that video, IMVU, he doxed the hotel where that Pablo Sonny person is and told his fans to go to that hotel. I mean, like completely unhinged. But when was this conversation? Just like rough date?
Creator Clash, so April.
Okay. And I appreciate you disavowing now, but I mean, like, I think it is a very fair critique though that you spoke to his credibility and like, about his IMVU video in the Pick a Side, even though like now you're kind of self-admitting that you never even watched the IMVU video, even though you like kind of publicly said on his platform that he exposed this public pedo ring on IMVU and that Pablo Sonny was a pedophile. Like you did openly say that as a fact, you know?
Yeah, and that's my.
rough.
I apologize for doing that. I should have vetted things more when I was friends with him. But when you're friends with someone, typically there's a higher level of trust than I guess what I was given with Max when it comes to like him telling the truth with me about things. And I don't know, man. I feel like I'm better than this at picking who I associate with and just believing Max at face value for all this time has just been a mistake.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else necessarily you wanted to say about Max or like have a statement? Do you want me to finish like going through the statement that you said?
No, basically, I called him a few days ago, or not a few days ago, like a week or so ago, because I've just been so busy moving. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And it is bizarre, bro. Like he answered the phone like, "What's up, you sexy slut?" And I'm like, bro, you're really happy. Shit's going crazy right now. I told him he's basically Dutch from Red Dead Redemption 2. Like he's I got a plan, and everything's fucking on fire. I'm like, dude, what's going on, honestly? And he was basically telling me like, kind of just downplaying the whole situation about Camden, how they got an investigation going and all that. And then I cut him off, and I was kind of just talking about like his responses to his patrons, the way he's been using ChatGPT to respond to people like with essays and everything. And how like unprofessional and just frustrating that is as like someone who's giving legitimate criticism, including you, Lyrics and Nick. And just responding like a robot. And he cut me off there and he goes, "Look, I understand, but you got to understand that as we approach the singularity," and I was like, "Bro, stop fucking talking to me like I'm a goddamn."
What happened?
Do you know what the fuck you're talking? I know you person to person, and you're talking to me about fucking singularity and shit. Like, bro, we live in 2023, not 2060. Okay, like, come down to earth and understand that everyone is pissed off at you and frustrated with you about all the shit you're doing online right now, and you don't realize that what you're doing is not just affecting you and your career; it's affecting everyone around you, because we've all stood up for you. We've all talked for you and stuff in the past. And you constantly do this shit every fucking year, and it never fails. You said that you wanted to just crawl in a hole and make videos, and you haven't fucking done that. Something's always got to come out where you've got to make a big controversy or make a big stink. And the way you've handled the situation has been horrible. And it was just like a total tonal shift with him. He was like, "I'm so sorry about that, man. I don't want you to feel that way, blah, 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 blah." But it's just frustrating because he will apologize to me, but when he goes on like a video doing a response, he just fucking, the apology was just horrible. And I'm like, dude, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't keep up with everything going on.
Dude, that apology, holy shit, cue the girlfriend.
It wasn't
at
an
the
apology.
End.
It was not an apology. It was,
he said he was
dropping tomorrow. It's time to go.
It was all a sympathy bait. Yeah.
It's just
it was a Hail Mary.
To me, it's heartbreaking because at one point it's kind of crazy to say, but I did look up to Max like back in 2019, like because he is a really good storyteller, in my opinion, at least, like with his old videos and stuff. Like when it comes to like fictional things, like, you know, like haunted video games and all that, like that's fun shit to cover, and he was really good at doing that. And I don't know, he's inspired a lot of things with me, for better or worse, with the way I like present my videos. And you know, like being his friend and stuff in person, and like getting to know him like as Max, not MamaMax, just Max, like someone who gets up and goes to the gym or goes rock climbing or whatever the fuck else we did, just random shit. It's heartbreaking because now, like in my mind, I just remember that shit with Max as like just a person, and like the stupid shit he does online has completely decimated everything. And I just can't support him anymore. I can't support this. I'm out, man. Honestly, I told him I'm fucking exhausted. I can't do this anymore.
After the stream, Nexpo tweets out, "I'd like to address something many of you may have been wondering, since we have so much audience overlap. There's a situation that's been unfolding lately regarding MamaMax, and some very unethical practices he's been employing with his latest video subject. I'd like to, on the record, state that I fully disavow everything he's doing. The situation with him has admittedly been an absolute mess, and I tried to give him advice on how to navigate through it properly, yet it's gone ignored at every turn. I've since cut ties with Max completely. Someone who I thought I knew and once considered a friend, unfortunately isn't who I thought he was at all, and it's fucking heartbreaking, but it is what it is. I cannot stand by someone who acts the way he does, while handling such a delicate situation without any sense of tact. I'm quite frankly embarrassed I ever stood up for him in the past, and while I can't take that part back, I can at least move forward without any further support. To any of you affected by my friendship with and support of Max in the past, I sincerely apologize. I typically am better than this at vetting who I associate with. However, after this shitstorm, I feel like I've never really known Max at all. Love you guys. Thank you all for your support." Now, as many of you guys might know, that is not the end of this MamaMax situation at all on Twitter. I'm actually a bit late to this story because I unfortunately got the flu like 4 days ago, and I'm just barely kind of recovered from it now. It actually was such a pain to record this voiceover. So that means a lot has happened since part 1 of this series, and one of those things that has happened is a leaked recording of MamaMax being even more insane than he has up until this point. And I will show that to you in part 3. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe to this channel with notifications on. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in another video.